If I guaranteed we'd make you $1.6 million in the next 60 days, would you start today?
Hey guys, this is Lloyd here, and today I'll be reacting to Grant Cardone, who's gonna be trying to close a deal on the phone. So it's pretty cool. It'll be a live demonstration of a real phone call that he's actually had, and I'm really curious to see his tonality, his ability to overcome objections, his overall pitch to the end prospect. I think is gonna be really informative, and you know what? I have a little bit of a preconceived assumption about Grant Cardone's personality because I've seen other videos of his, I've seen him live speaking, and I'm really actually curious to see how well he can perform when it comes to a real sales situation and not just him creating content or talking on stage. So with that being said, if you guys don't know who I am, my name is Lloyd Yip. I'm a professional sales coach, sales consultant, so I help other sales reps around the world become better at their jobs, improve their income, as well as helping companies and entrepreneurs build better sales teams. So hopefully today what I'll be sharing is going to be super informative and helpful for your own career and business. If you haven't already liked and subscribed, please do hit that notification bell so that you'll stay notified of new videos that are coming out. With that being said, let's get straight into it.
I'm not too important of a CEO, whatever that even means, to not do this, because this is the lifeblood of the organization.
He's totally right, guys. Sales is that important that I would argue that even CEOs need to be incredibly responsible for it. Now, if you're running like $1 billion company, you might be obviously trusting your sales team and trusting your revenue leaders to manage it. But in every software startup that I've been a part of or that I've interacted with, the reality is the CEOs are oftentimes very much in the sales process up until they're at least like 20, 30, even 40 people large. Because sales supports everything. It's the revenue center that allows engineers and customer support people, lawyers and accountants to even exist in the first place. And even if you look at some more traditional industries like law and investment banking, guess what? Like the wealthiest lawyers and the wealthiest investment bankers, the ones that actually make the most money, it's not because they're doing paperwork or because they're managing spreadsheets. Those are actually the lawyers and investment bankers that are going to the golf course and bringing in new clients. So sales is everything.
Yeah,
Grant Cardone.
the man himself.
Come on, man. Hey, let me tell you why I'm calling. All right, you got a second?
Okay, I have to stop this here real quick just because Grant Cardone just carries a certain level of confidence with him whenever he's speaking, which I really love. There's no timidity at all in his voice. His tonality is perfect. That being said, it's easier to be confident when you're speaking with someone who obviously knows you. It sounds as though the prospect is a fan of him. Would it be a little bit of a different conversation if you were to speak with someone who never heard of you or your business before? Of course. That being said, let's just see how he performs in this situation.
Yep.
I got two questions. You got a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, second question.
Okay, and actually I do like that he's asking for permission to ask a question here. In general, I think it's important to, especially with cold calls, make sure that you set a time constraint with someone so that when you jump on the phone, you let them know, hey, like I don't want to take up too much time and I am conscientious of the fact that you're a busy person. When someone knows that you actually are thinking about their calendar, about their busy schedule, it actually buys you additional time to have that conversation with them. But when they don't know if this conversation is going to end at all, they're going to be proactive in trying to end it on their end. So that's why for you, you let your prospects know on a cold call, hey, I don't want to take up too much time, or you ask for permission how much time you're able to get, and then you carry on the conversation.
Why didn't you buy our product? Why didn't you buy our product?
That's a good question.
It is.
And
It is
as
a
I
good question.
told the gentleman I was talking to, I'm very much sold on the product. Right now, though, I'm in the middle of a restructuring in our business, so I kind of been waiting for the right time.
So I'm going to be stopping this a lot here because there's a lot of great stuff even in these nuances. So first off, he asks a very straightforward question, which is so straightforward that it's funny, but that's part of Grant's personality. And I like that about him. I like that he's willing to ask punchy questions that can make people laugh. And it almost breaks the ice a little bit in that sense. But behind the question is a lot of substance, because this is very obviously a follow-up conversation. You can tell that the prospect has spoken to one of Grant's salespeople in the past. And here he's now going straight into identifying objections because obviously this prospect didn't buy the last time they spoke on the phone. So generally speaking, when it comes to any objections at all, you want to first probe deeper. That's one of the first steps that you want to have, because you want to ask, okay, what type of concerns do you have which are ultimately prolonging your decision? Why is it that you're not buying? As the prospect is actually articulating their thoughts, what I really like is that Grant is saying, yep, of course, I understand. He's nodding his head. He's acknowledging the fear or the concerns of the prospect, which is really good because it allows the prospect to feel as though they're being heard. And that's really critical because eventually he's going to overcome this objection, but it's really important that the prospect felt as though Grant actually was acknowledging it and paying attention to his concerns in the first place.
Implement such a product.
Of course, of course. And what would that right time? What would that look like to you?
The right time, I would say, would be September, early September.
Okay, good, good.
Now,
Now,
happening between now and then.
yeah, that's awesome, man. A lot happening for a lot of people right now. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I like that. See, he's agreeing, he's acknowledging, and that question, I don't know if you guys caught that, but that question where he asked, okay, and what would the right time look like exactly? It's really critical because you ask a discovery question to further understand what's your objection, and then not every single time are they just going to give you the exact objection. They might just give you a general broad sweeping statement of, oh yeah, it's not really like the right timing for a bunch of random reasons. If you're getting that as an answer, as a response from your prospect, you need to continue to probe. Just that one question wasn't enough. You got to ask, okay, what does the right time look like? And why is it that right now is not the right time? So further probing, and I like that Grant is essentially doing that.
Let me ask you a question. What do you, when we get started in September, what do you hope that the product will do for you?
Super cool. I don't know if you noticed that either, but when he says when you start working with us in September, he's already assuming the sale, which for me, I personally do this a lot. I like it. It just shows that you're confident. So yeah, like I would give a thumbs up to that.
You want more sales, you want to make more money, you want to have a better
Okay, so
organization.
good question.
It
What
is
I
the
want
second
is
good
we have a
question of the
growing
day.
sales- Yeah, we have a growing sales team. I want to create this kind of unanimous approach where everyone's using the same approach to generate more leads and close deals quicker. You know, we work in high-end furniture and lighting.
Yeah.
So our clients are architects and interior designers. They often have to wait on their client's approval. So, you know, sometimes.
I like this a lot, by the way. He's taking notes. He's actually asking about why are you interested in even thinking about working with us? And now he's actually able to understand, okay, there's pains. The lead generation isn't good enough. The sales team is needing to perform at a higher level. They want to hit certain revenue goals. So Grant is actually able to extract a lot of these tidbits from the prospect. And this, what this really shows is that sales is actually as much about listening and asking questions as it is about pitching. Arguably, it's even more about listening and asking questions than it is about pitching. And Grant is showing that right now.
Sometimes that's tricky for us. How do we incentivize them to close quicker?
To
You know,
close
how do we
quicker.
kind of guarantee that we're in there?
Yeah, the exact reason you're giving me is the number one objection.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
And yeah, just Grant's personality on the phone is just really good. I know he's a bit of a controversial figure. I've actually seen him live giving a seminar, and some of the things that he was saying live was hilariously controversial. He would say things which a lot of people in the audience would be just like squirming in their seats, physically uncomfortable, because I'm not going to repeat some of the things that he had said, but let's just say that there are a lot of potentially offensive jokes related to gender and race. But I get it. It's part of his charm. And he makes jokes during a sales call and he doesn't take it so seriously, which is really, really good. I actually like that. And here he's literally able to take the problem that the prospect is dealing with, which is overly long sales cycles. And he's like, hey, I mean, you're kind of that exact same prospect for me right now. And yeah, you can't help but to chuckle. I like that so much.
It's crazy. It's freaking like Freudian. So So look now. Let's say I get you generate more leads, we create a great culture, and we close more sales. Financially, what would you hope for this to do for you?
Great question. Another great question. So far, all I've been hearing Grant do is spitting out hot fire, right? Because before he had asked, okay, what are some of your challenges, right? Like, why are you even looking at working with us? And the prospect gives all these struggles about the leads and the sales team. But now, what is Grant asking? He's talking more about, okay, let's assume that things go really well. Like, what's your ideal situation to come out, say, a year from now? And that's great because you want to understand the entire journey that the prospect is hoping to go on, from where they are today, which you would assume is not the best situation, and then where they want to be tomorrow, which is the ideal situation. And that's what sales is about, right? Like, if you can help someone get from point A, which is their current situation, not great, to point B, which is their ideal situation, if you could be the solution that bridges the gap, that gets them from here to here, in a way where no one else can help them, no other solution can get them from A to B, then of course you're going to win the deal. But the thing is, as a salesperson, you need to understand, okay, what is point A? What is point B, right? So Grant is asking the right questions right now to get that picture in his mind, and then he's able to add a ton of value afterwards. I promise you that the answers that are going to be coming out of the prospect's mouth right now, Grant is going to be using at the end of the pitch to get him to close a deal or get him to book the call or whatever the next step is. That's the ammunition that Grant is going to be using in order to actually progress the deal forward.
Like I said, financially, from what I was told, this will increase my sales by 20 or 30%, which is great. I'd love to.
Yeah, and how much money would that quantify if I hit the top mark, 30%?
And you hear that he's quantifying the goals. And I like that because he had asked earlier, what's your ultimate goal? And the prospect just says, yeah, I want to make more money. But Grant isn't willing to just stop there. He's like, how much more money are you wanting to make? How much more money do you think you can make if we were able to actually hit that 20 to 30% sales lift? The more that you can quantify it, the easier and the more leverage that you're going to have to close the deal, especially if you're selling these B2B offers. A lot of these B2B offers, inherently the value that you're bringing to your prospect is quantifiable in the form of money or revenue or leads. So the fact is, when people are deciding to buy something, they're thinking, okay, I'm going to be spending $10,000, $20,000, and whatever that I'm getting from paying that money, is that going to be worth however much I'm spending? So think about it, right? Like, if you can show someone that, hey, your goal is to generate $1 million more this year, I know I can get you to that $1 million mark. If that's the case, why wouldn't you spend 20 grand on that? So to be able to quantify that makes it so much easier for you to close the deal.
That could be about 2 to 3 million.
Okay, 2 to 3 million a month or 2 to 3 million a year?
A year.
Okay, that's $800,000 a month.
I think that math is wrong. Pretty sure. What do you say? 2 million? 12 months? No, 800,000. I mean, hey, maybe math isn't Grant's strong suit, but sales is.
So we got. What are we in right now? Is this June 15th or 16th, something like that? July, August, September. That's 2 months. 2 times 800. How much is that?
16.
Dude, it's going to cost you $1.6 million to wait.
Oh, I love that so much. I love that Grant is using the prospect's own words back against him. Now, the math is wrong. It's probably not 1.6, but let's just use that number for now for simplicity's sake. So remember back when I said that Grant is going to use what he learns in these discovery questions as ammunition against the prospect to essentially capture the prospect to get them to ultimately close? Well, now he's actually doing that, right? He had discovered the goal is that I want to generate a ton more revenue, but he also discovered earlier that the prospect wants to wait a couple months or however long before they start working together. So now Grant is like, I mean, dude, your goal is to make a ton of money, and every single month that you don't work with us, you're not going to be able to get that 20 to 30% sales lift that we give you. So if your goal is to make more money, then why would you push off working with us, knowing that pushing off working with us is going to cost you $1.6 million? Now, I really love the way that he also framed it as you're going to be losing money rather than, hey, if you work with us, you're going to be making another $1.6 million in these next 2 months. Because generally speaking, people are working more so to like avoid pain than to achieve some sort of pleasure. So there was actually a study that was done a while back. It was called, like, I think the prospect report or the prospect theory, something along those lines. And essentially, this study, it compared the behaviors of two different groups. And the first group, they were just given $50 for free. And obviously, they're very happy that they just got free money. But in the second group, they were given $100 for free, but then they got $50 taken away from them. Now, if you do the math, which Grant can't really do, but I'll do it for you because, I mean, I'm Asian. I should be pretty good at this. $100 take away $50 is $50, right? So both groups ultimately got $50 at the end. Objectively, they should feel the same, yet for some reason, the two groups didn't feel the same amount of pleasure. Actually, the group that lost the $50, they didn't feel as much pleasure as the group that just got $50. Once again, both ultimately got the same amount of money. So people just are more averse to pain. They're averse to loss. So when Grant's framing it as like, hey, you don't work with us, you're actually losing $1.6 million, that is so emotionally charged, and that captivates the prospect quite a lot more. And you have to keep in mind, sales is a very emotional thing. Even in B2B sales, at the end of the day, people are deciding to buy something, not just 100% on logic, but ultimately on emotions, on what is the emotional trigger, on how it ultimately benefits them and transforms their life and makes them feel happier or feels less sad. So, like, so far, what you're seeing is a masterclass in objection handling. I would actually say that the perfect objection handling framework is where you first acknowledge someone's concerns, and then you discover deeper about why they feel the way that they feel, and then you overcome that objection with a specific handling sequence, right? And Grant essentially did that. I actually have another video right here that goes incredibly in depth about this 3-step objection handling sequence. And if you learn it, you can essentially do what Grant is doing right here and now. So just check it out real quick and you can understand a little bit more about how you can deploy this for yourself.
You're right.
If I guaranteed we'd make you $1.6 million in the next 60 days, would you start today?
Wow. Okay. That's a powerful question right there. That's a powerful question. If I guaranteed you, what is it, like 1.6 million in the next 60 days, would you buy right here? And here's why I like this question so much. First of all, he brings back the main dollar value, which cements in the prospect's mind what they'd be actually getting, which is like awesome. But then he also time locks it. He says, hey, not only are you going to get this, but you're going to get this in a very definitive time period, 60 days. So now it becomes a bit more real, right? Because like this $1.6 million figure, when am I going to get it? A year from now, 2 years from now? And if you stretch it over a long period of time, it almost doesn't even feel like real, but 60 days is so tangible. So I like that he time locks it. And then the precision of this question is that he says, would you start today? So the answer of, hey, would you like it if I just guaranteed you $1.6 million in the next 60 days? Of course, the answer is yes, I would like that. But there's a difference between just saying, hey, would you like that versus would you sign up today? Because would you sign up today actually gets someone to verbally commit. And when someone verbally commits, it's very hard for them to back out of that because then they would be contradicting themselves. They would feel as though they're failing to live up to a statement or a promise that they made. So I really love that. But I mean, of course, if you ask, would you start today, you do open the floor up for someone to potentially say no. That's a little bit riskier. But I would argue that's actually not a bad thing because if someone says no, then okay, you're just straight back into the objection handling sequence, right? Okay, why not? Right? You just told me that you want to earn more money. You just told me that you think that this product is going to succeed. So how can you say no? Help me understand what is still getting in the way of us working together. And then you can just repeat this loop of acknowledging their fear, understanding deeper about why they're so concerned, and then overcoming the objection again, right? So you just continue to repeat this objection handling loop until there's no objections left to go.
Right.
Look, Grant, I appreciate you calling, and I love your passion.
Yeah.
And people like you who are so behind their product inspires me to go ahead and learn more from you.
Let's do it, okay? Let's do it.
Yeah. And honestly, the prospect summarized it better than I could. I actually think that Grant's best quality is his confidence and his passion and his conviction in the way that he approaches sales, in the way that he approaches entrepreneurship and his own offering. He sells his offer with 100% pure conviction that his offer is going to work. And that allows him to be able to create confidence in the prospect. Because, hey, if you don't believe in what you do, then why would anyone else believe in it? And when you do believe in it with that degree of confidence, someone's going to be like, it must work, right? And I actually think that even if you're not a great salesperson, technically, if you don't know the perfect question to ask, or if you're not necessarily the most intelligent when it comes to overcoming objections, the reality is, if you're just like able to believe wholeheartedly in your offering, I would actually argue that you'd perform maybe even better than a really good technical salesperson that just doesn't believe in the product.
Do it. Hey, can I count on you to get started now?
Yeah, let's do it.
You're the man. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, like I gained a lot of respect for Grant Cardone coming out of this video. To be honest, before this video, I haven't seen many of his videos. Before this, I thought he was just like a sleazy sales guy, that he was much more of a marketer than a salesperson. But from this video alone, I think I'm changing my mind on him. He's really quite the impressive salesperson, at least from what I've seen here. So with that being said, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully this was valuable to you in terms of understanding how you could be a better cold caller, a better salesperson. If you are looking to improve your own sales skills, then actually book a call with me in the description box below. We actually have a bunch of training materials as well that you can check out to help you improve as a salesperson yourself. And if you're more of like an entrepreneur or a sales manager looking to improve your sales team, improve your own lead gen, I actually have a call booking link below that you can use in order to schedule some time with me for me to potentially give you some recommendations. All right, so with that being said, cheers.